A presidential aircraft crashed into the ocean and sank 200 meters below the surface. Miraculously, not a single drop of water entered the cabin. Every passenger on board was completely unharmed. They felt like the luckiest people alive, but soon that relief turned into panic because the plane was now trapped deep underwater, and the oxygen inside the cabin was running dangerously low. At this rate, there was no way they'd make it back to the surface alive. Even worse, the plane's communication system was completely down. They had no way to call for help. All they could do was sit and wait in silence. After a few hours, some passengers began to lose consciousness from the lack of air, and water started seeping into the cabin. Looking out the windows, everyone's hope faded. The flow of water was speeding up. They all knew deep down, if they stayed still and waited, the only thing awaiting them was death. Just then, an experienced captain came up with a desperate plan. Someone had to take the emergency beacon and swim up to the surface to call for help. But the water pressure at that depth was crushing. It could tear a person apart without the plane's protection. Even so, they understood this was the only chance for survival. The captain and his co-pilot volunteered to attempt the escape. They put on their diving vests, and the rest of the passengers sealed off the main cabin doors to stop more water from rushing in. But even that turned out to be extremely difficult. As soon as the captain cracked the hatch open, a massive wave of seawater surged in. It hit the co-pilot so hard he immediately blacked out. In that critical moment, the captain didn't have time to check on him. He quickly grabbed an oxygen mask and pulled it over his face, only to realize the oxygen bag had been ripped open by the flood. Thinking fast, he threw away the damaged gear and inflated the emergency raft. The raft shot upward, dragging him toward the surface at top speed. Gasping for air, he finally broke through the water. Clinging to the raft, he used the last of his strength to press the distress signal, then passed out. Luckily, hearing what he had to say, they were stunned. An entire aircraft had crashed and sunk, but somehow the passengers were still alive. It sounded impossible, yet they dispatched divers to investigate. After hours of searching, they finally located the wreckage, and to their astonishment, they saw people still inside. Everyone was shocked, but rescuing them would be far more complicated. If they opened the cabin door, the ocean would flood in instantly, drowning everyone inside. So they came up with an even more ingenious solution. Due to copyright restrictions, is where the movie must end. The film is called International Airport.